What's My Line? Brought to you by Kellogg's. Kellogg's Cereals. The best to you each morning from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line?
And now, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star who opens Saturday night at Paramus, New Jersey in Beekman Place, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now, the disarming and engaging host of I've Got a Secret and one of our favorite panelists, Mr. Steve Allen.
Thank you, Arlene. And now a young lady of whom it seems to be possible to safely say that it begins to appear that she has a steady job on What's My Line, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
And on my left, our favorite publisher, Bennett, Cerf.
Here's a gentleman that a darling but obviously eccentric little lady in Denton, Texas the other day said she'd rather find under her tree at Christmas time than anything else in the world. None other than our intrepid moderator, John Charles Daly.
Well, I'm Steve Allen. It's wonderful as always to see you back again in that familiar place on the panel.
Pleasure, John.
And at this time of the year, we think of it as a bit of a Christmas present. Matter of fact, I have a bit of a Christmas present for all of you. Get your blindfolds ready. We're up to some tricks tonight. We're going to play a few on you. We will also have a famous mystery guest before my friends on the panel a little bit later in the program. And we'll meet our first challenger after this word from Kellogg. All right, panel, as previously announced, we have a few little tricks we're playing tonight, and you're required to be blindfolded right now. Are the blindfolds in place?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. In that event, will our first challenger enter and sign in, please? Mr. X. How are you, Mr. X? Would you be good enough to tell us where you're from? Where are you from? New York? New York? You're from New York? Mm-hmm. Fine. Good. All right. Well, this is our panel, Mr. X. Will you join me over here? And we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. Panel, it goes without saying that you are blindfolded for good and sufficient reasons, of which there could be one, among many. We will tell you that Mr. X is salaried and deals in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
John, when you asked where the guest was from, we couldn't quite hear the answer. Did you say New York, finally?
Yes, highly nervous,
I see. Has your name or picture been in the newspapers in recent weeks?
One down and 9 to go, Mr. Allen.
Am I correct in assuming from the silence of the audience when you walked on stage that you are not in show business?
No. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Kilgallen.
He is in show business?
He is in show business.
Do you perform?
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf. He's doing a great job right now, but that isn't his normal function.
Are you either a producer or a director or a musical conductor?
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Not a producer, not a director, not a music director. Are you by any chance an author?
No. That makes it 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Allen.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, sir. You're doing practically nothing. Would your name... Well, this is a stupid question, but I've been sick. Would your very name strike terror into our hearts? I mean, are we familiar with you personally?
Yes.
Were you born somewhere other than the United States?
No. That's 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Have you been connected with musical comedy?
No. That's 7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Have you any connection with the television industry?
Yes.
Have you any direct connection with this particular panel show, What's My Line?
Yes.
Are you one of the producers or owners or directors of same?
No. 8 down and 2 to go, Miss Francis.
Must be Mr. Kellogg and his cornflakes.
That is not right. Keep your mask on.
What happened there?
What'd you say? Hey,
I
Was that
said
a
it must be
question?
Mr. Kellogg and his cornflakes. I said it as a joke.
You said it as a joke. Well, then
But maybe I should be serious about a product like that.
All right, you be serious, because you have to be serious if we're to admit the question, and I can't let you know that anything get brushed by on an
Well,
informal basis.
may I pose the question?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does the gentleman in any way represent what I would rather have for breakfast than my 2 front teeth?
Nope, that's 9 down. Want to go, Steve Allen?
Have you anything to do with the sponsorship of this program?
Nope, it's 10 down and no more to go. You may now remove your masks and say hello to D. Darnay, who just made you up a few minutes ago. Now, yes, Steve.
I noticed that his hands were trembling tonight, but now I know the reason.
Oh, that's far.
Now I know he was making himself up instead of Arlene and Dorothy.
Well, now, the one of it, actually, one question was, was D a performer himself? He isn't now, because he happily has been with us for 8 years. 8 or 9 years, I know, on What's My Line, and he does a lot of other Goodson Todman programs and CBS News programs as the makeup artist. But he was an actor and a stage manager. You appeared in Time of the Cuckoo here in New York, and he was in the national company of A Streetcar Named Desire. So he has a background of performance, which I think he proved again tonight.
Yes, I don't know about his other work, but he's the best makeup man in the world because he has the dearest generosity of spirit, and that's the best thing to have.
He makes you feel good,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
He makes you feel good for Christmas.
So say we all. Thanks a lot. Now, I think that's properly in the holiday spirit. Having created the proper atmosphere, let's meet our second challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Norma L. Olmsted. Is that right? How are you? And is it Miss or Mrs.?
Mrs.
Mrs. Olmsted, and where are you from?
Yorktown Heights.
Yorktown Heights, New York. That's very, very nice to have you here with us. And now, Mrs. Olmsted, may I present our panel? And now, will you join me over here, and we will let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Mrs. Olmsted is salaried, deals in a service, and we will begin the questioning with Bennett, Cerf.
Mrs. Olmsted, Yorktown Heights is right near Mount Kisco, isn't it?
Right.
Well, it's nice to have you for a neighbor.
Thank you.
One of the great industries in Yorktown Heights is international business machines. May I eliminate IBM from this discussion?
Yeah.
Does your service, Mrs. Olmsted, have anything particularly to do with the current holiday season?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Is your service for both men and women, Mrs. Olmsted?
Yes.
Do they come to you for your service?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Allen.
Is there anything athletic in what you do?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you go from place to place in your work?
Yes.
Do you wear something other than an ordinary street dress?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mrs. Olmsted, do you work for a non-profit making organization?
Yes.
Would it be some kind of a governmental agency?
Yes.
Is it not a national organization?
Yes, it is not.
Has it anything to do with local politics?
Yes.
Are you in any way connected with the law enforcement section of Yorktown Heights?
Small
I thought this was coming up.
If she does, you're under arrest, John.
Mrs. Olmsted, in the spirit of this particular season of the year, Bennett has no wish but to be very fair with you. Therefore, we are willing to accept that, taking your question in its broadest possible context, we are willing to agree that there is some flavor of what you suggest in the work that Mrs. Olmsted does.
John, you get more charming all the time.
Yeah.
Mrs. Olmsted, are you in any way connected, even remotely, with the collection or levying of taxes or penalties of any kind upon the citizenry?
Yes.
Taxes?
Yes.
Are you a tax collector or an assessor?
No.
That's 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
What else is
I know
there?
what you is.
Oh, do you?
No, I'm just guessing. Want a conference, Arlene?
May we have a conference?
One conference
since
for
Dorothy
20
thinks she
seconds.
knows?
Yes, let's go out someplace.
Would a community like that have a mayor? Could she be the mayor?
Well, if she is, we certainly haven't been informed properly, have we, Bennett?
I may move right to Yorktown.
Yeah.
Well, I was just throwing it at you. Throw it right out if you wish.
Well, are you elected to your job?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Mr.
To be
Allen.
elected to be
Usually.
Then you must be appointed to your job?
Yes.
Do you hold, nonetheless, what we would call an office as distinguished from a job?
Yeah, I think it could be described as such, yes.
Do you have a large staff working for you?
No.
No, I'm going to throw the cards over because I think really, generally, Bennett has got it. It's a very particular kind of collection. Because, do you want to take a guess at it? Just see if you can...
Dog taxes?
What kind?
Dog?
Right. Good going, Dorothy. Mrs. Olmsted is really the county dog census taker. And then, and then you pay so much for males that are spayed and so much for females and things like that. And it goes this way and that way. I don't know. It's way over my head, this whole business. But this is done for several months
Who
of the year.
decides which is which?
Oh, that's very simple if you know how to do it, right? Thank you very much. Mrs. Olmsted, it was nice to have you with us. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor. And it's all been thoroughly proven, and it's fully agreed that I don't think about dogs. And now we will have a special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery guest. And for this, as always, the panel is blindfolded. Are the blindfolds in place, panel?
Back on.
Good. Will you enter Mystery Challenger and sign in, please? All right. As you know, panel, a different form of questioning, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we will begin with Steve Allen.
Does that warm ovation indicate that you are in the entertainment world?
Yes.
Miss Kilgallen?
Is your birthday this month?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Are you appearing on the stage or in a nightclub in or near New York at the present time?
No, I am not.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you primarily a comedian?
Are you primarily a comedian?
Basically.
Mr. Allen?
That's the best way.
Are you primarily a motion picture comedian?
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Would you say you were best known for television?
Yes.
Do you appear on a regular television series? No.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
I'll bet it's Santa Claus. That's how I know him best. You have not got a series of your own. However, are you a supporting performer on television?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, Mr. Allen.
Dear. Have we ever worked together?
Yes.
Miss Kilgallen.
Do you ever sing?
Sometimes.
Mr. Cerf.
Have you often been on the Jack Paar program? Can I take a crack at this?
Yes.
Might it be Jonathan Winters?
That makes it 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
Comedians on the Jack Paar show. You're not Johnny Carson, of course. No. I'm having a terrible time. Are you a stand-up performer? I mean, do you do routines by yourself rather than in association with other people?
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Do you wear funny clothes? I mean, on purpose? You know, as distinguished from, say, Bob Hope, who wears a...
No,
funny
that's
clothes.
6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you do routines rather than one-liners?
I do both.
Mr. Cerf.
Were you one of the early great stars of television?
I still am.
Miss Francis.
Can't be Red Buttons.
Can't be Milton Berle.
Can't be Milton Berle. Can't be... Are you... What?
Oh, I don't know.
There's no conference been called you now.
We're having a desperation one.
Are you rather slim and good-looking?
7 down. 7 down and 3 to go. That's all. Mr. Allen, you're next.
On the basis
The answer
of
is
that
no.
laugh, I'll just take a stab at it. I can think now of about 19 people who are not slim. Are you Jackie Gleason?
That makes it 8 down and 2 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you, however, named Jack?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jack
Leonard?
Yes.
I think, however, I'm just as pretty as your husband. Remember him, Marty Gable?
I do. And he's now very slim.
I know that.
Marty's
Jack.
he's almost too slim.
Yes, I saw him the other day. I didn't recognize him. I thought he really was Stephen Douglas.
Now that I've heard your real voice, I want you to go back to the other one. You know what I mean?
And it's always nice to say goodbye to you, too, Steve.
Jack is going to be involved in a series. This is going to be a cartoon series.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's
5
called
minutes.
Fat Jack the Sheriff of Cheyenne.
Fat Jack, the biggest mouth in the West.
The mouth that roars.
The
That's what
mouth
it is.
that roars.
Anyhow, I'm very happy to see this very wonderful group. I liked them when they did opera bits.
Yeah, they were. Pardon
Did I
me.
pull a German, you, sir?
No, I brought my own.
Well, thank you very much for the interview, John. It's always a pleasure to talk to one of the greatest commentators in all this world. I hope in the very near future you may find another show to do, and I know that you will. If I may, I'd like to suggest that I'm opening in Chicago. Not to suggest I am. It's January the 11th.
You've got to open in Chicago on January the 11th.
Yes,
Where
sir.
are you going to
A
open?
place called Mr. Kelly's, and I'll be here at the Basin Street, February 4th, and I'd like to have you and your very dear friends over there as my guests some night.
That we would love to do.
I'd appreciate that very much, John, because I know the kind of money you get off of Goodson and Todman. Thank you very much, John.
Lovely to have you.
Merry Christmas.
Well, I think you made a good recovery panel, and congratulations are order. We'll have one more contestant after this word. And now a final contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Royce? Caracappa, right? All right. Where are you from? Queens. From Queens. That makes you a neighbor. May I present the panel, Mr. Caracappa? And now, if you'll join me over here, Royce, we're running short of time. We'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Mr. Caracappa is salaried and deals in a service, and we'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Could I use your service?
Yes.
Could any of the gentlemen on the program?
Yes.
Could children?
Yes.
Is there anything amusing or entertaining about what you do?
Yes.
Is there anything seasonal about what you do?
Yes.
Is it this season that you do
Yes.
your most work? Are you a Santa Claus?
Over they go. That's very good, Dorothy. Well, we tried to sneak it in. Now, I must admit that we try to do this every year at Christmas time, and we thought that in Royce, who was an actor, but who at this particular time of year is Santa Claus at Lord and Taylor here in New York. You're only, if I, you don't mind, you're 21, aren't you? We thought that, if a 21, slim, studious looking, you'd never
Santa
think
Clauses
Santa
are getting a
Claus.
leaner and hungrier look every year.
Johnny has such a twinkle that you'd think of him, in a beard. He would look like Santa Claus
well, you see-
because he'd be jolly to the children.
Royce, you look like Santa Claus.
He'd be
and,
pretty jolly for the adults. What do you know?
That makes you a darn good actor right off the base. And we all hope you have a wonderful and successful career in the theater and happy Santa Clausing, because you've
And
still
if
got a
you
few
like our
days to do
dresses,
it.
we'll work
Yeah,
together.
thank you. Nice to have you with us. Well, that was a smashing recovery. I say with some sentimentality, because we've had the opportunity to do it so much, one with another, and particularly with Steve here. Good night, Arlene Francis, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, John, and to you, and to everyone. Happy, happy Christmas.
Have a good trip back.
Thank you, dear. I share those sentiments. Merry Christmas to everyone. Good night,
And
Dorothy.
to you, dear, and Jane. Merry Christmas to all, and to you, Bennett.
Best of all to everybody. And John, from one dog lover to another, you certainly call a spade a spade.
It takes a lot to come back from one of those, but Merry Christmas to all of you, and thanks for being with us on What's My Line.
is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Todman. This is Johnny Olson. The program was pre-recorded. By the way, if you'd like to attend one of our broadcasts, write to What's My Line, CBS Tickets, 485 Madison Avenue.